Hi everyone, back today with another gold making compilation. So this is just the gold videos I've had throughout the week, and I put them together in a big lot for people who prefer the longer form videos. I just thought I'd start this video by showing you that Crackle Raw pet did sell, and I made 50,000 gold from it. So I just thought I'd show you here. I made other things sold too. I haven't been on for a couple of days, so that's why the mailbox is a bit of a mess. But yeah, that Crackle Roll pet did sell, and I'm going out to get another one in just a little bit. So just so everybody has an update on that. This is just a compilation of the goal videos from this week. Like and subscribe if you found it helpful. It's free for you. It's super helpful for me. Lets the algorithm know who else it should show these videos to. I am going to try and put timestamps in here. The YouTube overlords have finally allowed me to do that. So I'm going to try and break it up for anybody who's interested in a specific thing. But if you're one of those people who prefer shorter videos, all of these videos are up on my channel individually if that's what you would prefer. Or if you're just looking for a big research block, this is the one for you. All right, enjoy these videos. Hi everyone, back today with another video. So I've spent some time over at the Siren Isles and I've explored around there looking for ways to make gold essentially, because that's just who I am as a person. I'm always going to look at ways to make gold with new patches and expansions. So I've spent some time over there and I found a couple of ways, but they are short-lived. So you've got to go over and do it quickly because it won't be it won't be as valuable as it is right now for very long. As more people get the pet and as more people pick up the toy and as more people get the mount, it will become not only harder to get these things, but less worthwhile in terms of gold per hour. So the first thing you want to do is get into the storm. And to do that, you have to finish the mini quest chain that you initially get given to get your ring. Once you've got that, you unlock the daily quests. When you complete the daily quests, I think it's 3 of the daily quests, you have the ability to enter the storm. And once you enter the storm, that's where most of the gold can be made. So finish those daily quests. It took me probably like an hour the first time, and I was interrupted. I was doing it in sections. So it took me about an hour to do it the first time, all the way through to unlocking the storm. And that was including the quest chain that got me my ring. So once you've unlocked the storm, you're going to head over to here on the map. Most people are probably already aware of Zek, the rare. You can farm in for the little shards, and you hand in the shards to get the mount. So you need quite a lot of these shards. I did find that you could get some of the things from fishing nearby, and I do show you a video where I get that. But the pet farm that we're talking about here in this part of the video, at least, the pet farm is very close to Zek. So I found some people realm hop to do this pet farm where they kill the things and they realm hop to look for more things to kill. But I found that killing the things, and we'll go look at what those are in a minute, and then doing Zek in between was a really good way to work towards the mount and farm for the battle pet without going crazy. It just wasn't a solid block of killing the same little monsters on loop. So I found that to be very helpful as a way of breaking up my time. But you can definitely realm hop if you just want to put in a dedicated effort to get this pet. So once we finish watching my squirrel brain in action, because I did start this video with the deliberate intention of showing you where this pet farm is, and in true me fashion, I had to go off and kill the rare, got immediately distracted. So we're going to finish killing up the rare, and then near the rare, there is like this little a pathway up the mountain. There is other ways up the mountain. I just find this the easiest way with the least amount of monsters to get up the mountain. So you run up this little path up the mountain and you want to kill these blue things, all of these storm-touched monsters. And I found that being a caster was really worthwhile. In doing this, I did find a couple of people who were trying to do this on melee, and there were just a couple of these storm-touched monsters that were out of their reach. I think if you're a melee, unless you've got the ability to throw something or a taunt maybe, you're really limited to killing 2 or 3 of these. But I managed to get 4 to 6 of these monsters before they respawned because of my ability to reach the ones that were further up in the sky. So I mostly stayed to this area. I don't know if they spawn anywhere else, but this area worked really well for me. If you just run around this little U-shaped cliff bit and kill all of the little storm-touched dudes, you get a chance at the crackle battle pet, and I will show you that in a second. And it just drops when you get it. It is soulbound. You have to learn it, and then you have to put it in a cage. Otherwise, you won't be able to sell it. So it will be soulbound when you drop it, but you must learn it and put it in a cage, just in case anybody has any questions about how that works. It's not suddenly soulbound. It was always soulbound, but because it's a battle pet, you can cage it. You can see here being a caster really paid off for me because I'm able to reach those further away monsters, which is really, it helps to not only weed out the competition when other people are farming this. I'm happy to do this with other people. You know, if you both tag it, you both get to loot it. And some people did get the gist of that. But it just helps out to helps you to get some if you've got people who aren't sharing, and they do go away because you're getting more, I guess. So bringing a caster or something that's got a long range ability is definitely helpful. You can sign up for other groups for cross realm hopping. You can see that I'm showing you how to do that here. I didn't find that overly helpful, but that's probably because I'm not really the type of person who's going to spend ages farming something. So I'm happy to just wait in between or go make a cup of tea or coffee. Well, I'm doing most of these videos at night, so coffee. It really didn't take me very long to get my first battle pet from these drops, and you see it happens in the next couple of kills here. It was pretty easy. I haven't been able to pick it up again, but like I mentioned earlier, I'm doing this really in 15-20 minute intervals. I don't want to dedicate too much time to a pet farm, and you can only make gold as fast as you can sell it. And they do list for a lot of gold on the auction house. You see me list mine at the end. I think it listed for 57,000, which is not an insane amount of gold. But if you're out here farming the Zek mount anyway, and I believe that is soulbound, you can't sell it. But if you're a collector and you're out here getting the Zek mount anyway, it's just a good way to make gold. And if you're a gold farmer, it's just a good way to make gold, essentially. So you can see here, I picked up the pet crackle raw. I am learning it, and then I can put it in a cage after that, and then it becomes tradable. You can sell it on the auction house that way. With each of these little storm-touched creatures you kill, you get a chance at the battle pet, but you also pick up the currency for the island. And the currency for the island can be used to buy a toy. And I'll show you where that is at the end. And that also listed for about 30,000 gold. And that's going to be really short-lived. As soon as people are getting wind that their currency can be used to buy that, there could be other people who are interested in using their currency other ways. I believe you can use it to buy gear for alts, like warbound gear. It's pretty good if you've got a leveling toon or a new max level character. So people might be focusing on that for the time being, getting that transferable gear and spending their gold on pets or toys, but it will be short-lived. So make sure if you've got that currency and you're not somebody who's looking to deck out some alts, see if you've got enough of those currencies to buy the toy box. So you can see here, there's a couple of vendors that sell the toy box. And it's just a vendorable item. Like, it's really not very difficult to collect. It's the Awaken supply hash. When I picked this up, you can see my add-on said it was going to sell for 5,000 gold, and I got those little currencies just from completing the major quest line and then farming for that battle pet and killing Zek. So I just picked that up doing other stuff I was already doing anyway. I was surprised when I got to the capital city and it listed for a lot more than I thought it would. This is just like a side tangent note. While I was farming Zek, I did notice that if you fished near Zek in between, you could collect some of the items that you need for the mount. It's not just, you don't just have to kill Zek to get them. There are other ways. So I did fish up one of the items before I got bored. If you watch my other fishing videos, I'm not so good at dedicating time to that. I did finally reach level 300, so yay! But I did find that you can fish up the other items you need just near the mount, near the boss for the mount. So I fished up the cyclonic rune key this way, and I did pick up a couple of those other shards while just farming for the battle pet. I got it off the little creatures I was killing, so it doesn't have to exclusively come from Zek. It's possible the rare has a higher drop rate, but I entered a couple of groups for Zek, and a few people had been there farming all day and hadn't really had much luck. So I suppose it is just luck, and finding ways to farm that in between waiting for the Zek spawn, which I think is like 6 to 10 minutes, is just a really good way to find other ways to make gold. And the fishing in between did make me gold as well. So there's lots of options during this farm to make gold. So you can see here the battle pet listed for 54,000 gold. Like I said before, that will be short-lived as more people get more of this farm going, the value will go down. And the Awakened Supply Cache, the toy, did list for 32,000 gold, which I was really surprised about. I was expecting, 5 or 6,000 gold, and I would have been really happy with that kind of profit for a trade-in for currency. But we'll see how we go having listed it. I haven't logged in today to check, so I don't know if they've sold, but even if they don't, sometimes these pets can take a little bit. So I'll keep giving it a go. I've never tried to sell a toy for this much gold before, so who knows? But yeah, it's possible I've made 80,000 gold just running around farming that mount on the Siren Isles and getting my ring. So if you haven't been over there already, go and check it out, because I think there's probably a couple of good ways to make gold. If there are any ways to make gold on the Siren Isles that I've missed, let me know in the comments. Let me know, and I'll go check it out, because I don't know everything. I fumble my way through life and WoW, and then I stumble across stuff, and then I tell you about it. So let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, and I'll make a video about it or update this one. You may have noticed halfway through recording this video that the sound changed. I finally got my microphone. Yay! Let me know in the comments if it's any better with this newer microphone. So it's probably like the second half of this video really that I've been using it. I didn't want to re-record everything I'd already done. So yeah, let me know, is it any better? So that's all for this video today. Like and subscribe if you found it helpful or entertaining. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW. Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just a quick one. I've had a couple of people suggest that I do my just in-world content in war mode to increase pretty much everything that I'm picking up. So I put on war mode today, and I went to where I'd normally do my globs, the little dirt patch farms, to get the globs of wax. And I picked up the war mode quest while I was at it. So I did find that while I was picking up the globs of wax, it was really easy to do this. I didn't have any trouble with getting ganked or anything like that. But I also was able to complete the war mode quest, which gave me some valor and some honor, which means I'm able to buy those little tokens you need to make the PvP gear, basically. And so I thought I would give that a go. It's going to take a couple of weeks of doing those quests, I think, to be able to make some PvP gear. But it's more like a side benefit, because you get the immediate now benefit of having done this in terms of the gold outlay, because when you complete these quests, you get 10% more gold and other items that you're collecting. So it is pretty good from a gold making perspective. So collecting the globs of wax did count towards the war mode quest, which was really easy. I've showed you this farm a couple of times. There wasn't the quest up this time, and I found that it was actually a bit easier competition-wise. It could be because war mode, I don't know. But I had basically no competition. There was a bit at the beginning, like one other person, but they weren't there towards even the middle of it. They'd gone off. So it was really easy to get. I finished that war mode quest, but I also got my 100 globs of wax for the Ringing Deeps quest, which got me some reputation. I'm off to go do a set of world quests, because I'm wondering if the cache, the amount of gold you get from the cache is increased by doing it in war mode. So we'll go look at that next, just in case it is. It's just a thought. It may not be. It might actually just be in general quest rewards. Like you do this for 800 gold and it gives you 10%, so you get 880. It could just be that. I don't know. I'm going to go have a look. As usual, I picked up lots of stuff while farming these globs of wax, and I was able to turn it in for the box of rocks, because I picked up enough globs of wax to do that. The box of rocks. I did get a tinder box, just one, and I did get lots of ores. So I did hand that in. You can see me listing all of this stuff now on the auction house. And I was able to buy 2 of the PvP tokens. You need 5 of them to make some PvP gear, but I was able to buy 2 of them this week. So it's going to take 3 weeks, I think, to buy that gear, maybe 2, because I did have a little bit of honor points left over. But the PvP gear sells for a fair bit on the auction house. There's a lot of people, I think, who are interested in gearing for PvP before actually doing PvP. That might be why it's selling for such a good price. But it is just the side benefit. It doesn't make enough gold to do it exclusively for this reason, but it is definitely a good way to add to how much gold you're making as like a side benefit. So definitely consider it if you've got any sort of crafting profession. So just while we're here, you might have seen my post about thinking about giving Twitch a go. I did have a bit of a play with it today, and I lost an entire day trying to make this work. The problem I seem to be running into is when I use the streaming thing with OBS. It works just fine until I open WoW, and then we drop frames, and nothing I seem to be able to do will fix it. And I have one of the best laptops in the market. So the only thing I can think of is perhaps I need a PC, like an actual proper desktop, which is not something I'm prepared to do. Or potentially run it off. I do have an additional laptop, potentially run it off of that, but I don't know if it's worthwhile. I enjoy the recording this way, but I just can't seem to make the live streams work. So sorry to anybody who's looking forward to that. If you have any suggestions about ways that I could potentially make it work without going completely insane, because I lost a whole day on this. So I'm open to suggestions if anybody has tried streaming before while playing WoW and was able to make it work. Let me know in the comments. But for now, I think I'm going to stick to these videos. And alternatively, if you want something close to a live stream, I can probably play the game and record while I do it and talk while I do it and then upload it right away. Which I suppose is an option if you're looking for getting this content out as soon as possible. But yeah, we'll just keep doing it this way. Let me know in the comments what you want, and we'll just look at other ways we can see how war mode increases our gold making. I've got to say, there's nothing quite like recording a segment and then realizing your microphone is off. So let's take two. I just thought I'd show everybody how to turn wall mode on, just in case you weren't sure how to do that. You just open your talents bar and it's in the bottom right-hand corner and you turn it on there. I think you do need to be in a rested zone or in a capital city to switch that. So definitely do it before you go out into the world and do things. I did find that when I was completing the world quests, I was getting more in terms of gold and rewards. So there was a definite increase in terms of like the gold and the resonance crystals and even the crests. I was finding I was getting more of those things. I wouldn't go out of my way to do these quests. But if you're already in war mode and if you feel like you've got 10 minutes and you could do them. It's definitely worth adding to a gold making routine. My gold making routines make me a lot of gold every week. So I like to have diversity. I can probably, some of my farms, you guys have been watching this, some of my farms could make my subscription on their own, but I like diversity. So the gold farms are pretty good with war mode on. I would encourage you to put war mode on if you're just out gathering, if you're herbing or mining or looking for those globs of wax, anything like that. Put war mode on. I did this all three quests in Hello Fall and then the special assignments quests, and I didn't have problems ever with any PvP related items. So that was all right, I thought. And I got them done pretty quickly in about 15 minutes, which isn't terrible for, I think I ended up making about 2,000 gold. The cash I got at the end was it's probably the worst one I've ever gotten. And I'm sure that's just luck. And I don't think it was specifically war mode that did it, because the amount you get in those boxes, it is random. You're not guaranteed an amount. For that final quest, the special assignment quest, I did find it a bit of a struggle just because the buckets of chum were really not dropping for me. It was taking forever to get them. So I ended up making a group to do that, and we did it together. He had a couple of buckets of chum and I had some, and that worked. I got it done a bit faster rather than trying to get the buckets off those elite mobs. So you can see here, I'm about to finish the quest, and you can see what my cash drop here was. It wasn't any more impressive, but I did make more gold just in general doing the quests. And I did get more of those crystals, which I can use to buy the battle pets, and they can be sold on the auction house. So that's really my wrap up. If you're out here doing stuff anyway, turn on war mode and pick up that weekly quest, because I think the weekly quest is probably the best way to make gold out of this. Aside from coupling it with things you were already doing to make gold. If you were already doing a thing just out in the world to make gold, put war mode on while you're doing it. But I wouldn't go out deliberately to do it. So those are my thoughts on war mode. It did make me extra gold, and when I go do my weeklies, from now on, or if I go get my gloves of wax from now on, I will be putting war mode on because it does make just that little bit extra gold for the same time frame. So I think it's worth it just in that retrospect. So that's all for this video. If you found it helpful, give it a like and a subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, remember, hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just a quick one for what I did to make gold today. So those people who have been watching my other videos know that I spent a lot of time trying to make Twitch work today. I won't get too much into that, but basically it was a real time suck and I didn't spend as much time as I would normally. So normally what I would do is log on in 30-minute intervals throughout the day and do small tasks just while I'm looking for some break time, basically. So I began this video by buying off some of the regions needed for the tinder boxes. And I only buy these when they're at 755 or less. The lower the better, but 755 is the maximum for making profit, at least for me, especially when you're factoring in the auction house cut. So I will list those for 480-ish, 480-ish, 2,480-ish. And I find that I make a pretty good profit margin off of those. Things have been moving a bit slowly lately on the auction house. And I think that could potentially, it could be a slowdown, but I think it has more to do with the plunder storm uh, starting, and it'll be a temporary thing, I think. So a side effect of that has meant that the prices of other things have gone up. So the prices of weaver cloth and the prices of ores and things like that have gone up. Not an unbelievable amount, but definitely up. There's less people farming those things than normal. There's also less people buying those things than normal. I'm finding the pioneers for tailoring, the pioneer items that are level 71 are selling really well on the auction house at the moment. So I'm making one of each a day and listing them on there, and as they sell, I replace them. I've made a couple. I just put them on this morning before I started that Twitch stuff and just left them there. So they haven't all sold, but normally they sell. I did sell a couple and I've logged in a couple of times and collected that gold. I was really surprised that the low level things were selling, and they're making a pretty decent profit margin for to 300 to 400 gold per item for a level 71 item. That's making more than some of the top tier enchants. And it doesn't require any concentration. So is the gear, the crafting gear. Trying to think of the word. The crafting accessories are also selling more than they would normally. I'm finding the herbing stuff is selling more than the other things, but the other things are definitely selling. And I can make those at top tier with no concentration, and they're really quite cheap. So I've been putting those on the auction house as well, and they've been making me a steady profit. So just I'm using Craft Sim, so just I encourage you to go and look really at what you can make and whether or not it's actually making a profit on the auction house. Don't just look at the top tier stuff, which is what I was doing for a long time. I was probably shooting myself in the foot a bit there. It could also be more people are leveling alts now than they have in the past. I don't know. But I am making a lot of gold with that lower level stuff, even the lower level enchants. So go and have a look at your own crafter and see whether or not anything there is making a profit. Check all of it, not just the best stuff. I did do World Quest today while on War Mode, and I put out a separate video about that. You can go watch it if you want to. I was just kind of experimenting with how much more gold War Mode would make me while doing it. And I was surprised that I was able to complete the War Mode weekly quest while collecting my gloves of wax for my enchanting. So I'm trying to catch up on my enchanting points, and I've done that now for the Shimmering Dust. But while I was out there collecting the gloves of wax, I was able to complete that quest because I have war mode on, which is enabling me to collect the things I need to make the PvP gear, which sell for a lot. Some of them sell for like between 7 and 9,000 gold. I'll only be able to make one every couple of weeks, but it's still free gold. The other thing I did today was 10 minutes of this follower farm, the dark flame cleft. You do have to be a tailorer. Don't do this if you're not a tailorer or a scribe. I'm not a scribe, but scribes would make gold here too. You cannot pick up the cloth without being a tailorer and being spec'd in it. So don't just go in and hope for the best. Check your tailoring spec to make sure you're geared, your knowledge points are set up for it. But I just did this for 10 minutes. I know everybody keeps telling me that if you do the second room, you get more weaver cloth. And that is true if you're doing this to lock out. But I can only do this a couple of times a day in like 10-minute intervals, really. So 10-minute intervals, I want to get the most cloth I possibly can. And that is by clearing this first room on repeat. The second room takes longer and you don't get as much cloth from it. So doing the first room on repeat is what gives you the most cloth the fastest. And I will say, if you are doing this to lock out, do both rooms. But I just don't have time for that. And I'm making plenty of gold this way anyway. So I just thought I'd show you. I did 10 minutes of this as well. And I do list it on the auction house at the end. Normally today I would also do my delve, my first one of the week, but I just don't have the energy for it today. I also have a deadline. I need to finish the last book in my series. Should have already done it. So I do need to go and put time there. Like a true author, I've mastered the art of procrastination, the ability to make the possible impossible. So I do need to go do that, and I don't have time to do the delve today, but I just thought I'd post a quick video on what I did today to make gold. The tinderboxes do set you back a bit, so it does look like you will notice the beginning of this video I started out with 1 million gold. And then towards the end, I was down around the 900,000 because I bought the tinderboxes. And that's just, it's a side effect of the tinderbox flip. It is a risky flip. Other people have pointed it out. I'm relatively confident I can make profit on it. I've done all my calculations. I have the fun Excel spreadsheet, which does not look as nice as everybody else's. It's like just the basic, if I pay this much for it and we can't count the auction house fee, and the auction house cut, how much am I making? What does this need to list for as a minimum? Which is how I know my 755 is the maximum really I can afford while making profit. But I am relatively confident that if something happens and those tinderboxes do not sell for whatever reason, come season 2, they will. I'm really confident, and I'm confident I'll get a good price for that. Some people are just even stockpiling it now. So I'm not worried. Normally this would be a risky flip, I guess. But I've got enough gold that if it happens really. And I've got many other gold making strategies that are working for me. And I'm making a lot of gold. You can see I'm making a lot of gold each week. So I'm not too stressed about it. It's up to you what your risk tolerance is. There are other things that could be flipped on the auction house. Let me know in the comments if there's something you think I should give a go. I'm happy to do that. And I'm happy to show you my results and talk to you about what I'm finding is working. Also, let me know if you'd like a small video on what the auction house cut is and how to factor that in, because I have noticed a lot of people with the tinderbox have been listing the tinderbox for really low prices, which is fine, which is absolutely fine, especially if you're getting those as a drop, like you're doing a thing and then you're getting the tinderbox, because listing it for 2,200 is 2,200 in profit. But if you're buying the tinderboxes, the regions for that at 780 and then listing it for 2,200, you are not making gold. So really make sure you're factoring in the deposit and the auction house cut, which is 5%. So I don't want anybody getting burned. You have to math it. And I know it sounds awful. I mean, I was an English teacher for a long time, and mathing is like the worst thing ever. So make sure you check, or just don't do the flip. It's up to you. Your risk tolerance may be higher than mine, but that's what I've discovered recently. What I didn't manage to show you, because the public orders, they go so quickly, I don't always get time to record them because you want to accept them before they go away, before somebody else picks them up. But what else I've been doing is those public orders. It was Great Vault Day yesterday. I'm in Australia, so I don't know if it makes any difference in American servers what day Great Vault Day is. But it was Great Vault Day yesterday, which means last night and today has been lots of like the crests for the enchanters and gear for the tailors, and anybody else who makes a crafting item, who has a crafting profession. So I've been picking up a lot of those, and I haven't recorded it here, sorry, but you can see the profits I've got are way up. And a lot of that is because of those public orders and the tinderbox flipping. The weaver cloth is good. It would be better if I could set aside the time to do it to lockout. I just don't. When I do have the time, I want to go do something I really enjoy. Like I really prefer the delves, and I know that's not for everyone, but it is for me. And that's where I'll dedicate my time, or I'll go explore something new, or get a mount or something because that's just who I am. Yeah, so pick and choose what you feel could be helpful. I just thought maybe if I posted what I did today to make gold, people who were thinking about doing their gameplay today could decide if they wanted to do gold farming, what it is that worked for me today, and if anybody wanted to replicate that. I also just wanted to say for those people who noticed I made it to 1,000,002 gold today that I've never done that before. I started gold farming in November without a clue, like totally clueless, never done this before. So that was quite a milestone for me. I don't know. It's probably not that much for some people, but for me, it felt pretty good to get that million. I think I was 1,000,002 gold. It wasn't in this character's bag. It was across bags. You could see on this character, I have about 901,000. But it was still really nice to finally reach that across all of the characters on my account. Basically, there's probably about I think 100,000 ish spread out amongst the rest of them. But that was a milestone for me, so I just thought I'd share that with you guys. That's it for today's video. Like and subscribe if you found this helpful. And as always, remember, girls don't play well. Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just a quick video on how much gold I'm finding I'm making per hour doing the waxy glob farm plus the honor crate farm. So if you stop in the middle of farming to go and get the crates. And I just thought I'd talk to you about what I've noticed there. I also wanted to point out a couple of people told me how to make the dirt piles glow purple in the beginning of the just to make it easier to see. And I did that in the beginning of this video. So feel free to watch that again and see how you can turn it on yourself. I found that it really sped up my farming. It was really helpful and I spent less time hunting for them. They're very easy to see when they glow purple like this. So thank you to all those people who pointed it out. With the waxy glob farming, I've been doing a bit of it lately just to see, what kind of drop rate there is and what you get. And I have noticed that what you get kind of changes from the dirt piles. Sometimes I get like lots of herbs and lots of ores from this pile, and then this time around I got lots of fish. Like it seemed fish was the theme for this 1 hour farm that I did. I am still getting I got one tinderbox in this hour, and then I got some of the other things you can trade for the tinderboxes. They're about 750-ish gold each, and I managed to get one each of everything. So that's a nice little bonus there. But it is kind of what's carrying the value of this farm. I did get enough globs in this hour to go and switch them for rubies, and I swapped it for a box of rocks. And I checked the value on all of those, and each box got me between 500 and 700 gold. So it's definitely more value to go for the box of coins. So I'll be doing that for future. My thoughts are with the switching the globs of wax for materials in particular, and that might change with the new patch. But it's only got value if you're like an alchemist, for instance, and you're swapping it for herbs, because now you've got things to make something more profitable. You can make those pots and things and they'll make more profit, and then those things are free. You're not buying them off the auction house. So if you're just doing this farm to list things on the auction house, there's definitely better ways to spend your time. It is nice to do. It's I find it quite relaxing, and I've been doing it for that. But if you're here to make gold, it does all right. It's not money, it's not time in a hole, but it's not the most effective gold per hour I've ever done either. You can see the purple highlighting makes it loads easier to find these piles of dirt. And I just wanted to say that every now and again you pick up a waxy glob that puts you up in like this little tornado. You can mount up and collect them that way. You don't have to jump in the tornado and try to do the catching. So if you've got the Pathfinder, it's really easy to pick up those floating spores just with your mount. Just so I found that was a real time saver. So if anybody else is looking to do this. I managed to get 3 of those war crates in this hour of farming. I didn't get anything of note from them, just the honor points and the conquest points and those little crests. And I have been making the armor with the crests, but it hasn't sold yet. I mean, I haven't been on for 2 days, so I haven't actually checked my auction house for the last 2 days. So it may have sold, but when I last looked, I was relisting it. So I think that'll be a time game, and you might get a bit of a boost with the next season. People wanting new PvP gear with the new season, so that's a possibility there. But yeah, I'm finding specifically farming the boxes, unless you're trying to build your own PvP gear set, in which case the conquest gear and the honor gear is probably worthwhile for you. But if you're just a gold farmer, I mean, don't ignore them if they're there, but I wouldn't go out of my way to farm them either. So I just thought I'd show you the waxy globs. I got 3 of the crystals in exchange for the farming I did today. And like I said, I swapped them for the boxes, but I didn't get much. I didn't get much gold out of it. And I think I'm not actually sure how much gold comes out of those little coin boxes, but I'm assuming it's 1,000 gold because that's about what's standard across the other factions. But yeah, I'm thinking it's definitely not worth swapping it for those crates anymore. I mean, if you get a tinder box, you're winning, but I opened 3 and I didn't get any tinder boxes, so the chances are relatively low, and it probably evens out over time. So if you're looking for easier gold faster, definitely open those like coin boxes instead. I won't subject you to the full hour of farming that I recorded. So I've cut this into sections, and I didn't list anything on the auction house before I went out farming, and my bags were empty. Everything I'm listing here on the auction house is things I got. Something I didn't record was I got about 100 gold in trash items. I don't know whether or not people are factoring that in, but I know some people are interested in raw gold. It's not a lot, but it does add 100 gold to the tally, which I didn't include here. So the auction house amount was 10,500 gold for the hour. I did get those honor points and things as well, but I don't know how much gold they're going to translate into. If you add the 100 gold for the grays, it was 10,600 gold per hour. You know, it's not a terrible way to spend your gold farming, but there are definitely more effective ones. So that's just my thoughts on the wax glob farming and trying to pick up those crates while you're at it. And I mean, do it if you like it, but if you're looking for gold specifically, maybe try something different. So that's all for today's video. Like and subscribe if you found this helpful. It's free for you and it's super helpful for me. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW. Hi everyone, back today with another video. I just thought I'd do a quick one. I was playing with warmode some more, and I was trying to see if there was like another way to maximize the amount of gold I'm getting while in it. And a commenter suggested I collect the crates, the war crates that drop while I'm out farming. So I don't have a gatherer. I have a tailor and an enchanter, but I was out collecting the little globs of wax in that farm area I usually use. And I just decided to pick up the crates, the war crates, as I was doing it, just to see if it increased my gold in any way. I did find I was getting the little crests, the little green ones you get to make the PvP gear. You can buy those on the auction house for a couple of silver each, so they weren't too much to sing home about. I've made some PvP gear with it. I'm not wearing it. I've listed it on the auction house. I've spent a lot of gold in the past buying the plans to be able to make the PvP items on my tailor. So I have all of those. So I've started to make those. They're listing for a lot of gold. I have no idea if they're going to sell for a lot of gold. It's possible they will because the amount you have to pay to have the plan, and there might not be many people with it. I don't know. But I've made a couple of those and listed it. But I did find a couple of other benefits of doing this and collecting those crates. So every time you open the crates, you get that little crest I was telling you about. You get some honor and you get some conquest points. And I've been told the bloodstones are really good to buy with the honor points you get. You do have to have a lot of honor points to buy those. So I haven't picked up enough to buy those with yet. I don't do PvP generally. So this is the only way I'm picking up those honor points. But I have been told that come season 2, this person anticipates that they will go up in value. So thank you for suggesting that. And I am starting to kind of hoard my honor points for that just in case, because I'm not using them for anything else. I might as well use it for gold making. I was out here doing my globs of wax, and I did find that sometimes when you open those boxes, the war crate boxes, they have additional items in them. So I got an enchant at one point, but it sold for 1 gold. It wasn't anything special. But I did also get a tailoring recipe, the Algari competitors cloth cuffs or something to that effect. And I got that out of it, and that's listing for almost 20,000 gold. I don't know what the drop rate is. I've only opened 4 of these boxes. They seem to come every 15 minutes, and I did this for about an hour just to see what it was like. I don't think I'll do it all of the time, but I am finding now that I've got the Pathfinder flying, the globs of wax farm is actually kind of soothing. I like repetitive things on occasion, depending on what's going on in my life, and something that's predictable and soothing and low stimulation can be very good for me. So I'm finding that I'm really enjoying it at the moment. It's just a good way to break it up a bit. When the treasure box comes up, I go and get the war box. So it's been pretty easy. I'm Alliance, and I'm not finding any competition. I'm not having any problem with PvP. I haven't been killed yet. I haven't been attacked yet either. And every time I go to get the treasure box, and I'll show you a couple in here, I'm never the first to get there, but I always manage to loot it. So I don't know if it's just Alliance is very quick at the moment, but I haven't had a problem. If there's a box and I make it before the box disappears, I get to loot it. So I haven't struggled with that. And I did find the globs of wax. They give you so many items. Like I'm making a fair bit of gold with the globs of wax, just listing the things I'm getting from the piles on the auction house. With this 1 hour farm, I was in and out. Like I did go back to the capital for a bit, a couple of times to check my auctions, to check craft orders, and to list things from my bag while I was there. So it wasn't a solid hour. It was probably more like 45 minutes in total if you count the time I was flying back and forth and in the capital listing things. But I made what I feel was a pretty decent amount of gold. And then I was able to get 2 rubies at the end to buy the box of rocks with. And you get a fair bit of ore out of that. Sometimes a tinderbox if you're lucky, but it's mostly just the ores. And I'm making about 700 gold off a box of rocks, which isn't great. I should maybe be buying just the 1,000 gold box that you can get when you switch out the ruby. But the chance for the tinderbox, I don't know if it's worth doing. I've only got a tinderbox out of it once, but I've only had 3 rubies. So out of 3 boxes, I've gotten a tinderbox once. So it could be worth it. It might not. I don't know. Let me know if you think I should just be buying the gold box for this. Is it worth hoping for a tinderbox, or is that a relatively low drop there? But I did find that plus all of the things I picked up here, not counting the recipes and not counting the patterns, the things I was able to make with the crest, not counting those, because I don't know if they're going to sell. If they do sell, it's a really good farm. But if they don't sell, it's an okay farm. And I think it would really depend on what people are doing in the current season as to whether or not that sells. Those recipes would be also an example of spend gold to make gold. They were not cheap. I buy them because the public orders are really good when people send those through, because you can get the crests that are bound to you when you pick them up, and they make a higher level item, and you get a lot of public orders that way, and people will pay like sometimes a really nice tip. On average, though, you're looking at 1,000 gold per public order you make for those PvP things, which isn't terrible because they're pretty consistent during the week, whereas the public orders for the general gear that other people make with their Great Vault pieces and their sparks, they tend to be mostly focused around Great Vault Day and the weekend. But these PvP ones are pretty consistent throughout the week. Like you get them a lot. So it's just a good way to fill in orders during the week when you don't have that big boom. I wouldn't encourage you filling in those PvP orders with the less than enjoyable tips when you've got a good chance of getting a lot of those public orders for the Great Vault, the Spark pieces. Just as a side note here, when you're picking up the little dirt piles, you can, and you get chucked in the air and you have to catch the little spores, you can pick them up with your mount. It works exactly the same, and it's easier. If you've got the Pathfinder, you've you've definitely got the ability to do the maneuvering you need to do, and it's just much easier that way. It's much faster, especially if you're competing to get those spores. So I just thought I'd show you. I did go over to the ringing deeps at the end of this, and I switched up my globs of wax for my little rubies. I did get 2 rubies for the hour. And like I said, it wasn't a solid hour. I was in and out, and I was chatting with mates and things and with my guild. So I wasn't dedicating my 100% of my attention to that farm. So if you're giving it your time and focus, you could probably get more done than I did. I like to do things kind of in a relaxed way. Um, I'm more doing it for enjoyment. I don't have a number goal. It's nice when I pay for my subscription. I'm always paying for my subscription now this way, but it's mostly because I just like this type of gameplay. So I did buy the box of rocks this way. This is just me checking that I'm not valor capped because it's happened before. I've had all my valor stones all the way to 2000, and I was completing things and not getting them. So it's just double checking there. But I got 2 of the rubies, and then I go and list them on the auction house. So in all, I reckon I made about 7 to 10,000 gold, just from the waxy globs, what I picked up from the piles, and then swapping them out for those boxes. And then probably, like, if those other things sell, the recipe and those other plans I was able to make, if those things sell, maybe something like 50 or 60,000 gold. But like I said, they have not sold yet. I've just listed them. I have no idea if they will sell. So don't rush out and go do this. I mean, if you've got the plans, the little green marks, the herald things, they're not very expensive at all, especially with this season about to end. So it's like a very small gamble. I'm really just losing out on the exquisite weaver cloth. So I am giving it a go, and I already had the recipe, so it's no biggie if it doesn't sell. Somebody will buy them for 500 at some point, I'm sure. But might as well see if I can get those higher prices. So that's my thoughts on farming the crates while in war mode. I think it's definitely good if you're the type of person who's looking for something steady. I mean, the globs of wax are really steady, but if you're doing herb farming, herb gathering, or mining, that's probably just as beneficial. I mean, you could even go fishing if you really wanted to. And so I think what's important is pairing it with other ways to make gold. I think some people do realm hopping. I think that's a thing where you can swap realms to open as many boxes as possible. I think that would be a lot of work. It could be worthwhile. I mean, if you're picking up a lot of these patterns and you're able to sell them, that could be worthwhile. But I think it would be a lot of work. It really just depends on what you're into. I mean, if you're really into PvP, and you're looking to gear up outside of battlegrounds before you go in, this is a really good way to do it. Getting a lot of honor and conquest. You could get a basic outlay doing this. But if you're just a regular gold farmer, I think pairing it with something else you're already doing is the way to go. While we're here, I just thought I'd talk about my video for yesterday. This is the mail open for this morning, and then I have another mail open next for what I made today while doing this gold farm and my enchants and things around that. I pretty much just duplicated today what I did yesterday, the making, the tailoring the accessory gear and the enchants and putting those on the auction house throughout the day while I was doing my other farms. Those tinder boxes did not sell. They're still listed on the auction house because I will not sell them for less than 2,500, because I'm very sure if I just wait for the next expansion, I'll be selling them for a lot more. So I'm not willing to sell them for less, and I am willing to wait that out. But just from yesterday's gold farm, just the day of what I was doing, that video there, I made 57,000 gold. And like I said, those tinder boxes did not sell. So it was other things that made me that gold. And then today with that other gold farm, the globs of wax farm, plus the making of those accessories and enchants throughout the day, got me another 37,000 gold. So in total, in the last 24 hours, without selling any tinder boxes, in the last 24 hours, I've made 97,000 gold. You know, and that's around average for me on days where I can give it a little bit of time. I spent maybe 2 hours today in total, because I log in the morning and I relist anything that didn't sell where I have my coffee. And then I go do other stuff. And then I did give that hour today for that globs of wax farm. And like I said, I was coming backwards and forwards in between. I did get really lucky with one of the spores. Somebody, the Viridian spore cap or whatever it is, the thing you can swap for the tinderboxes. Somebody had listed those for 50 gold a piece. I think they'd listed them for vendor price. I'm not sure what happened there, but I was able to buy, I think, 16 of them at 50 gold each. And then I relisted them for 760 gold each. So I made a nice little flip off of that. I just got really lucky there. There was a lot more at the time, but I was not able to buy them fast enough. So congrats to anybody who picked that up if you're one of those people watching this video. But I made a lot of gold in the last 24 hours. I'm confident once those tinderboxes go through, that'll really add to this price. It is a bit sad to be so close to 100,000 in a 24-hour period, not quite make it, but that's okay. There's always other times. So if you found this video helpful in any way or entertaining, give it a like and a subscribe. That's super helpful for me and it's free for you. And I really, really appreciate it. It helps the YouTube algorithm know who to show this to, and I can help more people find ways to pay for their WoW subscription. I have learned recently that you can use gold to pay for your WoW expansions as well. So I'm hoarding gold for that because there are times where I just can't justify spending real life money on a mount that comes with the expansion pack, but I can 100% spend gold. So I am putting some money aside, some gold aside for that. That's one of my goals for the future, to pay for the next expansion in gold. I just wanted to say, this is me from the future. I just wanted to say that I realized when I went and checked in my auction house, just right after this video, basically, there was stuff pending at like almost 5,000 gold worth of stuff pending. So I did make that 100,000 mark. I mean, it may not technically count because it wasn't in my mailbox, but still, my brain says yes, so I'm going to count it. That's a win. So that's really it. If you have anything in particular you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Or if you have any questions or anything I didn't fully explain, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them there. And that's it for today. As always, remember, girls don't play WoW. All right, that was the end of the video, the compilation video. I'll make another one next week with all the little gold videos I make. I'm going to slow down these gold making videos just a little bit. I've started to listen to other people who have suggested I should do other things, basically with my voice. So I've made an audiobook for my book and I'm doing that in installments while also finishing the third book in that series. I will get it done. I'm so close. The writer's block is amazing. So thank you to everyone who suggested that, and I will put a link for anybody who's interested. It's just free to watch. It's on YouTube. So go check that out if you're interested. I am toying with some other gold making ideas. I'm wondering if there's a better way to get procs while crafting things, and if there's a difference versus at the table and away from the table. So I'll let you know. At the moment, it's just a theory. So I'll let you know once I've done more research on that. As always, like and subscribe if you found this helpful. And remember, girls don't play WoW.